Hi again, I hope you enjoyed the previous films that we made. What we're going to do now is some natural edge turning, something similar to this where you leave the natural edge on there. I cut this blank a couple of days ago and actually I did not wrap it in plastic straight away and it just started to crack, which I put some super glue in, but don't make the same mistake. If you just wrap it in plastic or cling film straight away, it will stop it from cracking, and you can leave it in storage for a little while before you do your turning. So I'll just get this unwrapped. This is a bit of sycamore and I'm hoping to leave some of the bark on. Sometimes you have to use some thin cyanacrylate glue to help you do this, but we can talk about that when we get to that process. So I've drilled a hole here through the bark. This is very important. If you use your drive just say here in the bark, then it can tear very easily. So you need to have a Forstner bit the same size as this or slightly smaller. So this can go in, hit the solid wood on the inside, and then it's safe. So this is very important. So just make sure you bang that down, use a wooden mallet or a block of wood. And then we'll get this mounted in between centres. Not the standard, I'm using a cone drive. I prefer these because you can put more pressure on and it only stops at this point here. You have more support and the point doesn't keep digging in and in and in and in. So that's why I prefer cone drives for this type of work. Looks good. Move this out the way. Safety glasses. So we just get the rest in close before we start turning. I do have previous videos where we start from very basic. So please check out the other videos from basic and you can follow the journey to do this type of work. So we'll start at low speed. Beginners. So we start at low speed and just bring the speed up slowly to a safe speed. Ensure everything's fully locked before you start. So a bit of vibration here, but quite often, and it's really good feature with the variable speed, you can actually go through the vibration. Yep, so we can keep going, and it's the second vibration's the time to stop. So second vibration here, that's the right speed. We're about 800 and we can start to true the outside edge. So because this is natural edge, I don't want to cut in this direction because I'll push the bark off. I want to cut in this direction so that you get a nice clean cut on the bark. So just to begin with, nice and gently line the bevel up. So we'll stop and just check if that's true. Not too bad. At this stage, I'm going to run some thin glue to try and keep the bark on, and then we'll make our finishing cuts to get a nice clean edge. So thin glue on the bark, let that soak in. So the next stage is to set the spigot here for the chuck. I've got my calipers, but I'm just going to guess the size about here. A bit smaller. A lot of this is waste, which we can turn away. Now I can move my rest to the correct position. And now I'm just going to move the tailstock back. Really good feature on this lathe is the really long quill. Still have the strength, lock everything off, just gives me a bit more room to work. Really nice bit of wood. I look forward to getting that finished, and yeah, some beautiful colour in there. So at some point I will have to cut in this direction, but I'm hoping now that I've roughed it out, I can get a faster speed, and then we can make a much smaller, cleaner cut on the bark. Just working on the shape a little. We're starting to hit the bark, so I'm going to move the rest in and just turn the speed up. Okay, that's good. We can go slightly faster there. So now I'm going to be super careful, take small cuts. Let's have a look at that. Okay, pretty good. Pretty good. At this stage I might just add a little bit more glue to take the final cut. But yeah, very happy with that. I like the shape. I'm going to harden this with a bit more super glue and then do my finishing cut. Okay, so I've just swapped over to the straight grind. I'm going to use this for my finishing cuts. The only trouble with doing something in between centres is that you can't start from this position. So I can only actually start maybe from about down here. So this area, I'm going to do some shear scraping, and then I really want to use this grind to do the best finishing cut for coming up, especially where the bark is. We showed you this technique in a previous video. So here I will shear scrape to get this part finished, ready for sanding. It's a really good technique. You know, you do get actual cuts, gives a really fine finish, ready for sanding, and it smooths all the bumps out. It's quite a good little technique. Takes a little practice, but it's a great technique. So we have to come high to get the bevel rubbing. This is okay, a little bit tricky. Bevel rubbing. And as we come around the corner, just going to take that bump out. I can actually move onto the back bevel where I find that I get a better cut. And now you can see the slicing down the edge, you can see the shavings coming off. Nice and gently, nice and gently. We're going to follow our way along the shape and do a nice finishing cut. Now I need to move the rest. Just check on the shape. I always look on the horizon to see the shape. There's maybe just a little bump here. Okay, so I'm going to pick up the cut and just nice and gently go all the way to the end until we've finished cutting our finishing cut. and off the end. Okay, super. Looks good. Maybe we could use the negative rakes just to smooth any bevel rubs out. A lot of that would sand, but maybe I can show you quickly the negative rakes to actually improve that slightly more. So I don't have to use this. This could just be sanded. Maybe you'd start with a 120 grit and go down. The things you have to be careful of is if any vibration with the abrasives on this area as you're sanding, it can round the edges off. So if you can get a better finish with a negative rake, then that will just save some of the sanding. So, small or medium handle, we cut on the center line, so I need to just lift the rest up. Yeah, about there. Nice and gently just go around the corner. The weight of the tool is all you really need to keep it from vibrating. All you need to do is just move it round nice and gently, and this will leave a nice clean finish. Please check out the sharpening video. It's important to sharpen these correctly. There's a link below, click on that and it will show you how to sharpen them. Yeah, so hopefully you can see the difference here. Yeah, and this is the point we stopped, and these are the bevel rubs. So from here, good, we continue and we'll take these bevel rubs away. Now we're going to get this sanded. I'll just show you the beginning process with 120, and then off camera I'll just finish the rest of the sanding. So mask, very important. And also extraction. It's very important when you're sanding that you put light pressure here where it's going to miss, hit, miss, hit. So as I'm sanding, I'm putting some pressure here, but when I come to this area, very, very light pressure. Otherwise the abrasive flaps and you don't get a clean edge. Right, now that I've turned that around, we can turn the inside out. Again, this can be quite tricky. We need to work from the center and slowly start to work out to the edge. Don't work from the outside edge in. We need to make nice cuts to try and keep that bark nice and clean and to keep it on the bowl. So bring out the speed slowly. So we're through the first vibration, we can go up to the second. I'm using the swept back grind, so the flute halfway open, line up the bevel in the direction that you're going to cut. So keep working down. As you've taken some of the weight out, you should be able to increase the speed slightly. And this will make cutting much better on the natural edge. As I'm reaching down more, I'm just going to extend the blade slightly to give me more leverage. Let's just stop and have a look. You can see that we've started to cut down now beyond the point. We'll get rid of that centre cone and then we'll start working back at our thickness. Now we don't want to make it thin all the way down in one hit. We need to think about stepping down and sanding in processes if we're going to make it super thin. So we'll take this out first and then we'll start reducing the wall thickness. Okay, we're reaching down quite a way now and there's going to be some vibration, so we need to get the rest moved in to reduce some of that vibration. Like so. Again, always make sure you turn the piece round before you actually fire the lathe up. And now we can start cutting down the side and reducing the wall thickness. So we've gone down till about 5 or 6 millimeter wall thickness. What I like to do now is just add some glue just to harden the bark, and then we can continue the process. Now that we've glued this part, I'm just going to increase the depth about 1/2 inch, and then we can do a final finishing cut. And if we need, we can actually do some sanding. If we start to see that move, it's best to sand it now before we can continue down. So here's the bevel, line it up with the direction of your cut. Now we do a finishing cut. Just have a look. Yeah, this is good, nice and clean. Yeah, perfect. So we can get this sanded and then we can continue down. We have to do this process. If we'd done it all in one hit, this would wobble and move and we wouldn't be able to get it sanded at all. I'm choosing to use the small 36mm sanding head because I can just get into that corner very, very nicely. Not too much pressure, nice and gently. And I can get that sanded. It's very important to have the angle this way so the wood comes down like this. If you tilt like this, the wood will hit. So you have to tilt so it just hits the bottom edge. Takes a little bit of time, but I'm just going to get this sanded through the grits. Now this is all sanded, it's looking perfect. Really enjoying making this. It's a really interesting project. The next stage is we're going to take down beyond this bark area here, so probably the next inch or so, and then we can get all that sanded up and then we can finish the rest of the bowl. Bevels here line up with the direction. Again, we're going to stop and just add some glue before we do our finishing cut. So the next area has been glued and gone off. So we're just going to take the next step down to make this the same wall thickness and we can get that part sanded up. Stop and have a look. It's not quite the same thickness. We need to take a little bit more down in this area. And that is looking okay. Maybe just 1 millimeter more. You can see the thickness here is about 4, here is about 5. Okay, now it's even and I'm very happy. Now I have a very small bump here and I could do this with the bowl gouge, but if I took slightly too much off, then I could damage the whole piece. So I have this around. This is my deep vase negative rake scraper, and it's just brilliant for fine tuning. So we can just very, very carefully just take that slight bump out which is here. It's a very, very safe tool to use. Just take it up nice and gently. You can feel where the bump is actually with this tool. And I'm just working on that area. There, perfect. Yeah, that has finished the job, ready for sanding. So this part down here is quite tricky to sand, and I'm going to use my long reach bar. We'll take the head off this, put on a long reach bar, and I'll show you how to sand down in this area. So it's the same small 36mm head, but what I can do now is actually use the rest as a guide to actually safely sand this area. And my hands aren't anywhere near the danger zone. So remember to tilt the angle of the head. And now we can safely sand the rest of the bark. So now this piece has been sanded here. We can just turn the rest away now and get it finished. What I have to do to get the bevel rubbing is I have to go high and I have to arc to the center. If I just go on the center height, then the bevel would not be rubbing. So I'd have to change the angle. So in order to keep the bevel rubbing, I have to come high. See, the bevel's lost there. But if I come high, then I can maintain the bevel rubbing. Yep. The only other way to get round this is to make a steeper angle. Which is what I'll do right now.
Okay. Because you can't get around the corner.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so what I've done is just reduce that angle up there, more to sort of 55, maybe 60 degrees, and that should help me get and reach down into this tight corner. Still some more to come out of the bottom. That looks good. I'll stop and have a check. Yeah, we're very close. Little bit thick in the bottom, a few more cuts, but we're nearly there and ready for sanding. A few more cuts first. Small dimple, let's just get rid of that. Yeah, that's great. Now I'll show you how to get it sanded up and finished. Now we're ready for sanding. I really don't like putting my hand in these natural edge things because it's very dangerous. You can see with it spinning around, I really wouldn't want to put my hand in there. So I have two options. I have the long reach bar with the Pro Sander, we'll show you this. And I also have the quick click system and the long reach sanding attachment. So this one's quite good because you can hold the bar and you can get into and sand very, very easily. And safely. I'll just show you the long reach bar. I'll move the rest forward. Just get my mask on to show you this. So using the rests and the long reach bar, this is also another method of getting in and sanding. Just light pressure. It's going to take longer, but just keep sanding. Start with coarse grits and you can sand it down to a finish. So now I've finished, I'm just going to put some oil on this and then you can see the picture at the end. Thanks for watching. I hope you check out some of my other videos and we hope to see you soon.